Goedemiddag. Oh, let's do it in English today. Recently, some friends of me asked me, Jan, sometimes your Facebook, you're posting messages of other people who have other perspectives on what's happening in the world. For instance, like what's happening in Turkey or with COVID or things like that. And why do you do that? Why do you post that information? Is that your opinion too? Or you always try to trigger people? Why is that? Well, I think I've told it before in other videos, but let me try to explain that in a short video. For me, the outside world is a reflection of our inner world. It's a mirror of how we think, how we act, how we feel. And so I always try to trigger people with things in the outside world and with a message of, okay, investigate it, but above all, investigate yourself. If things are like that, how do you how come you're not aware of those things? Or why do you have these strong convictions? Or why aren't you open for other perspectives? But once again, for me, the outside world is, for me, we project the outside world. We realize the outside world through our thoughts, through our emotions, through our actions. And so I try to make, and for me, the world is beautiful and ugly at the same time. I think I'm amazed by the world, by the beauty and the diversity and the culture of the food and the people and the nature and the animals, and I really love it. I think it's genius. It's more intelligent and more sophisticated than anything we humans have ever built. And at the same time, I think the world is very ugly as well. There's a lot of sadness, a lot of pain, a lot of injustice in the world. And for me, well, I understand now both sides of the world, because both sides also live inside of me. I can be positive and I can be negative. What I've learned is that each one of us has more control over our lives than we're aware of. The basic way of life, they all go to the same rhythm, the same school, the same culture, the same messaging on television, the same movies, the same message is always the same. So we're being, we as humans, in my mind, we're very programmable. So we're programmed to live and act and think and behave in a certain kind of way. And I've been traveling enough, and in general people are very nice, very kind, very hospitable. Most people are very helpful. And so when you travel, well, 99% of my experiences is very positive, it's very nice. And I say, oh, what a great food, what a great people, what a nice place, how people interact with each other, how people take care of each other. And maybe it's completely different, but it doesn't make it better or worse. But in general, I think people are very nice. But that's not the general situation in the world. It's not the general situation for people. There's a lot of abuse, there's a lot of poverty, there's a lot of overpowering, there's a lot of theft, criminality. So they're both things. So I think the human nature is that they're very loving, but the practice is that not everything in the world is as loving as it can be. Not even then it should be, but as it can be. And but well, I start talking about we're very programmed also, we're all being treated in a certain way. And I have discovered the last 6-7 years that you have more power over your life than you're aware of. The way you think and the way you speak and the way you act has an impact on your own life, but also on the lives of people close to you. And we're very focused on the outside world. We expect many things of the outside world. We expect from your partner to love you and to take care of you, and then for your children that they listen and that they follow your path and that you and things like that. And you expect maybe your big enterprises or government or banks or pension fund to take care of you. So we're very much focused on what other people and other persons do. We expect to receive a lot. And so it's like we're living in a world of interchange of needs. Oh, you have that for me, I have this for you, so we have an interchange. Maybe there's nothing wrong with that, but it's a very conditional world. So if you do this, then I give you this. So it's interchange, very conditional. And that's the way we bring up our children, that's the way the schools are. So it's the way we learn to live. We are being brought up by our parents. And but as little children we expect like unconditional things, like unconditional love and being welcome whatever happens. Yeah? But we're very much focused on what other people do. But the trick is to find inner peace or fulfillment. The trick is that you learn to focus on yourself. That you become aware of what you yourself need and that you can give that to yourself. Many times I say everybody wants to receive like money or respect, or maybe money is a bad example, but respect or love or intimacy or confidence or loyalty. But it's like in nature, if you want to receive, you need to share first. In your relationship with your partner or with some other person, if you share happiness, then happiness will come back. If you share positive energy will come back. If you share respect, other people will respect you. But the trick is that the word is sharing, and that's not for nothing, because you can't share something what you don't have. So it all starts with you respecting you, and then from being full of this energy of respect, you respect other people. But because you're already full of it, you can do it unconditionally. And so it's not business. It's not an interchange. So you can, if you're fulfilled with love or respect or confidence or trust or intimacy with yourself, you can share that respect to other people unconditionally. And if they don't, and usually you get respect back. That it works like that. But if you can do it unconditionally, it's very liberating. It liberates also relationships, because it's not a business deal anymore. Oh, I do this for you. No. So if you're being nice to another person, other people are not doing nice back, then you don't need to react directly. It's like you're already fulfilled with nice and positive energy, and you're sharing with positive energy. And if the other person can't give it back, then you can stay positive. Oh, You're not having a nice moment. Shall I make you a cup of coffee? Do you want a smoothie or whatever? We want to talk about it. So you have a different reaction because you're already fulfilled. So the trick is, we're very focused on our outside world. But if you want to have a different outside world and have a different relationship with the outside world, you need to learn focusing on yourself. And the outside world is a mirror of you. So if you're looking to receive love from your partner and she can't give it, or he or she can't give it, it's a mirror that you are unable to give love to yourself, and you're looking at outside of yourself. And you want respect from other people, it's a message that you're not respecting yourself. Same as trust, confidence, loyalty. You want other people to listen to you, and maybe you need to start listening to yourself. So whatever you experience in the outside world is a reflection of what's happening inside your inner world. And when you learn to fulfill those needs by yourself, then you learn to see it, and then you know that if somebody not treats you nice, you now understand, oh, it's not about you. What the other people does or doesn't do, it's not about you, it's about him or her. He's not being nice, he's not having a good moment, or he's not being honest, or he or she is not being loving. And because you're already satisfied, you can do it unconditionally, or more unconditionally. So in the end, when you learn to look different at yourself and learn to have a different relationship with yourself, you will ultimately have different relationship with other people. And some people will go away because it's not a match anymore, and other people will come back for them. But so that's for me how we have power over ourselves. And the basics of it all is the relationship you have with yourself. You can't have a mature relationship with another person if you can't have a mature relationship with yourself first. Okay, but Jan, that's not always what you're telling on Facebook or on your messages. Many times I'm sharing triggering stuff about the world. About COVID, or now with maybe Turkey, maybe it wasn't a natural disaster, maybe there was some manipulation, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, for many years I talked about chemtrails, and the people say, oh, you're crazy, but well, if you do some, it's all, many governments have already admitted it, yes we do manipulate the weather, and we use geoengineering with that, and geoengineering chemtrailing is the same. So that's the story. At least they're admitting it, they're doing it on purpose. So, yeah, but many people talk about, oh, there's a conspiracy theory and chemtrails doesn't exist. Oh. Within 10 minutes you will find 50 proofs that it exists. So the fact that you don't want to see it, that's about you. So that's always what I'm trying to trigger. Why aren't you open to investigate things? Why do you stick with the programming, with the story of the television or the newspaper or the government? Because if you look back exactly, especially the last, 5 years, 10 years, many entities that we trust have proven us that they can't trust us. I was born and raised in Holland, and so in Holland we have the government, and they have a prime minister. He forgets, he lies, he doesn't act. There are a lot of situations where you say, how is it possible that people still vote for him, or the government is still there? And people just keep accepting it. Why? Because, we're looking at the outside world, and we think we've been programmed that we think we need other people to help us live our lives. We need other people or governments or whatever to have a safe society or a healthy society. Well, if you look at how they've dealt with COVID, it makes you wonder if the health of humanity was on their high on their priority list, or maybe there were other things, because there were some decisions made which at the moment were already questionable, And in hindsight, now looking back at it, we know figures were manipulated, stories were, truths were not shared, the message was changed. There was no other agenda. It's there, and still people don't want to see it. Well, for me there's a correlation. Like I told you in the beginning of the movie, or of this part, is that you have more power over your life than you're aware of it. But it's not easy, because if you've been living in a victim mentality all your life, then consciously or unconsciously, then it makes you feel comfortable. It becomes your nature, how you feel. Well, you're being a victim, so you always have excuses. Yeah, but it was my father, it was my mother, it was my school, it was my family, it was the community, or it was my uncle, my grandfather, I don't know. So I'm not saying that not bad things have happened within families or between people, but for some reason people, including myself for more than 50 years, it was more easy to stay in that energy. So it takes a lot of energy, and maybe it even takes courage to say, shit, I have a choice. It's not only victimhood, but there's also personal responsibility. And I want to change this in my life. I want to be different. Or I want to get rid of this behavior, or I want to get rid of this life. And then you need to take charge of your life. You need to get rid of victimhood. You need to learn to accept the past, to learn to forgive, above all yourself. And then if you can forgive yourself, it's easy to forgive other people. But that takes a lot of energy. It takes courage, it takes life force, it takes whatever, love. Above all for yourself. But the trick is, the more you understand yourself, the more you learn to love yourself, the more you can love other people, the better you understand other people. Because you see the similarities. You understand what other people do is not always about you. Or usually it's never about you, it's always about them. So by loving yourself, by accepting yourself, by forgiving yourself, it's easy to love and forgive and accept other people just the way they are. You learn to become more unconditional because you've seen how difficult it was for yourself. But for 99% of the people, that's not common practice. That's not easy. So they blame other people, and they are dependent of other people. So they need a prime minister, they need a political party, they need a bank, they need a boss, they need some to guide them. And they stop thinking from themselves because they know personal responsibility. Life is more easy. Oh, my doctor says me to take this, and I do that because he studied for it, so I accept it. The government, it's their job, so they've studied for it probably, and so they know what to do, and that's what we do. So, but if you look closer at life, which is very difficult because we've been kept very busy with making money, paying taxes, and getting our pension up to, and having our children studying, and life is very expensive, getting more expensive and more expensive, and we have less free time. So when do you investigate? When do you read? When do you talk? It's difficult, I understand. So, but for me, again, the outside world is a reflection of our inner world. So this dark side, because we also have anger inside of us, and we also have abuse inside of us, because if we can use, for many businessmen or in relationship, we try to overpower our children, or overpower our relationship. Manipulation is just misusing power, or trying to abuse power. And so it's all inside of us. So it's also inside of other people. It's also inside of society. And what we have learned, the more power somebody has, the more important it becomes to a person. Like when you're making money, when you're successful, you say, oh, you can relax now. But most people say, no, 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 no. I want another car, I want another house, and I want another enterprise, I want another restaurant, I want a bigger, more and more and more, because it never seems to be enough. We have this constant need for growth, need for more. The same with power. So people already have a lot of power, they want to have more power. And so I think the world could be a lot more peaceful place, much more honest place, much more loving place. And I think we're abusing nature. I think we're treating animals wrongly. I think we're treating humans wrongly. And that's all based on a lot is based on fear that there's not enough. There's not enough water, there's not enough food, there's not enough money, there's not enough space for everybody. We need to depopulate the planet because 7 billion, we need to go back to 500,000. So it's a story about lack. Lack of love, lack of food, lack of solutions. But it's all bullshit. There's abundance of food, there's abundance of love, there's abundance of everything we need. We're being programmed. So whenever you turn on the TV, it's fear and it's a problem, and then in the newspapers, no more fear, more problem, and you need the government, and you need to do this, and blah, 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 blah. But in the end, I think we don't need government the way it is organized this moment. We don't need banks as this organized this moment. We don't need the pharmaceutical industry the way it's been organized at this moment. And we don't need the media business. And we don't need the school system the way it's organized today. And so I share these messages to make people aware to read a bit, investigate a bit, come to your own truth. And then if you maybe find, oh shit, this is really different than I was told, than I thought it's. For most people, they're just parrots. I heard on these, then blah, 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 and then they talk it around, and then it becomes a truth, because the teacher said it was in the news, and somebody else said it, and now it's a truth. But that's bullshit. Everybody is parroting, and not too many people are really investigating. And so I hope that every once in a while somebody says, oh, Jan has a point there. Oh, he was telling that some time ago as well, and especially now, for instance, about COVID, a lot of information comes outside. Not everybody wants to hear it, but there was done a lot of lying and a lot of manipulation and a lot of untruths, and a lot of abuse of power has been used. And still, most people continue their lives if nothing has happened, because they're still afraid. Yeah, but I need to pay my taxes. If I don't pay my taxes, then I don't have a future. Or my pension, everything is going down, prices going up, so there's more fear. So we keep accepting the bullshit. And then comes another story, oh, but we do this, and then we save you, we do this, then we save you. And everything they do, they never come with a solution. It's just one bandage over another bandage over another bandage, and nothing is really solved. But most of the people, they keep accepting all the bullshit. And that's okay. But if you have the courage to look a bit beyond this year or the next 3 or 4 or 5 years, you say, oh, I have children or I have grandchildren, where's the world going? There's an agenda for a very controlled life. We need to control your money, you need to control your traveling, we need to control your food, we need to control what you're telling and writing, we need to control what you're reading, we need to control a lot of your freedom. And well, what will be left for our grandchildren? And we had this one sausage, what we say in Dutch. Everything is the same We go to school with all the same clothes, and we have the same message and the same training, and that gives us the same opportunity, but not everybody is the same. Not everybody has the same level of intelligence. Not everybody has the same talents. Not everybody has the same level of creativity. So we're trying to make one size fits all education and growing up. But there isn't a one size fits all. One of the beautiful things of the world is our diversity. That we have races, that we have colors, that we have cultures, that we have differences. And now everything is needs to be controlled. And well, I'm not afraid of it, but it's not the future I see. I see a future where people have personal responsibility. And when you, in the end, if you really learn to love yourself, it opens up your heart and your mind for other people. Because you understand yourself, and you understand why other people are sometimes clumsy or not nice, or maybe a bit of a grumpy or whatever. So you learn to take not things, and because you're more and more satisfied already, you learn to take things not so personally. But at the same time, you learn to live more responsible for yourself, for your animals, for your people who are close to you, live close to you. You become more easy to come along with. And I think, all the shit what's happening now in the world is motivating a lot of us to say, well, we need to make a big change. And the big change will happen. It's going to come. Because the path we're on, it's a dead end. But the path will continue until enough people say, yeah, but this is a dead end. This is not what I want for myself. This is not what I want for my children, for my grandchildren. Or this is not what I want for society. So, and that we already change that the moment more people have the courage, the audacity to stop being a victim, stop being a slave, stop being so obedient, and become personal responsible. Oh, but I will take care of my own food. I will take care of my own energy. I will take care of my family. I will create a strong community with the people next to me. So together we can make a big change. But the change is coming through us. Everybody wants to change the world, but nobody wants to change himself. But in the end, that's the only way we will change the world. By changing ourselves. So, changing one person to another, to another, to another. The biggest power you have is inspiration. Like when you're educating your children, nobody wants to listen, no child wants to listen, but your children look at you. So if you want your children to be happy, you show them to be happy. If you want them to be honest, you be honest. It doesn't work if you're smoking and then telling your children, oh sweetheart, you better never start smoking because it's not healthy. And then put out another cigarette. It doesn't work like that. No, you show them. So your biggest power is you being healthy, you being honest, you being kind and loving. And by you being kind and honest and loyal and truthful and whatever, you create kind and honest and loving and nice children. And you change your relationships. So everybody wants to change the world, but the fact is we need to learn to change ourselves. But for many people it's difficult to look at themselves, and for many friends it's not easy to be honest. So out of love I accept all the bullshit. So how loving is that? Accepting all the bullshit. So for many people it's more easy to become awake a little bit from the outside world. Oh, the banking system isn't the way they told us. Oh, the pharmaceutical enterprises don't always are working for our health, but sometimes making money or having more power is more of their interest. And that goes for many things. nowadays journalism, investigating, or maybe the government said, oh, there's this opposition, and they reach. What kind of opposition do we have in the world? What kind of options do we have in the world, the political system? It's all rigged, it's all bullshit. But if you become aware of that, I hope you will find the courage or the stimulation to say, okay, but why have I been believing this bullshit for 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 years? Why didn't I want to look at it before? I'd hope becoming aware of how the outside world works as well. I hope there's a trigger to investigate, but who am I? Why am I doing this? Why do I have these convictions? Why don't I investigate? That's why I do it. So, not everybody likes me for it. Say, oh, Jan with his conspiracy theories, or abusing a bad situation, and people already on the floor. Yeah, sure. But bear in mind, I'm a very loving person. I take care of myself. I take care of my loved ones. I take care of my neighbors. I take care of my animals. I don't badmouth other people. I don't judge other people. But I do sometimes bring a triggering message. But I'm not stealing your pension. I'm not raising the energy prices. I'm not taking away your liberty. I'm not telling you to wear a mask. I'm not obliging you to take a vaccine. But most of you do oblige me to take a vaccine or to wear a mask because you're afraid. And I'm not afraid. So here I live at 10,000 kilometers from where I was born and where I had my companies. I sold my companies for little money because I knew, I said, okay, the way I talk, the way I feel, the way I want to act, not everyone will like that. So here I am on my mountain, not being vaccinated, not doing everything that society tells me, what government tells me, what banks tell me. I'm doing what I think it's honest and fair and important. I'm trying to create something for the future. But most of you think that I'm dangerous. Why am I dangerous? I'm not. I'm just triggering you. I'm just inviting you. I'm excluding nobody. Everybody's welcome here. Everyone's welcome for a talk, or for a hug, or for a meal. I'm shutting nobody out, but society is shutting people like me out. And then people like me should be arrested because we have the audacity to speak differently. Maybe. Maybe not. Just do your homework. I'm not forcing you to do anything. I'm only inviting you, I'm trying to inspire you to think, to communicate, to be honest, to look in the mirror, to become personally responsible. Stop blaming other people. Do your own shit. Whatever happens in the world, I'll be fine. If you wake up or if you don't wake up, it doesn't matter. If you take another 7 boosters, you'll live with the consequences. I lived with the consequences of my behavior of taking none of those shit. So that's why I do what I do. I hope we will create a different future for our children, for our grandchildren. And I have no doubt that we're going to do it, but I'm not sure how long it will take. I'm not sure who's going to be around to build that future with. Because many people continue to live in a state of fear and stress and easy to be manipulated. And I hope you find the strength and the love and the wisdom to make some other choices. Well, I'm not sure I've made a coherent story of why I make these posts, but I think the main message is in here. So, have a good life, be kind to yourself and everybody around you, be the source of everything you want to see in the world. You be the change, and your life will take a miraculous turn, and we'll have a great future together. See you.